Welcome back, my subscribers. Today we're talking about another awesome piano that you can use for your music productions, and that is the Maverick piano from Native Instruments. Today I'll be comparing another piano. We're talking about the Maverick from Native Instruments compared to my usual Steinway setup. So we're going to talk about that and see where this piano fits in a music production. So for those who aren't familiar with this particular piano, this is a sampled piano from a real piano. This is a 1905 vintage grand. And the cool thing about this is that it's a vintage grand, which means you're going to get a very different sound and tone compared to a lot of the modern pianos that we have today. Even the Steinway that's sampled that I use a lot. And the controls are really straightforward. There's not a lot to play with, but you can definitely personalize it a little bit more. So this is basically a recreation of the 1905 concert grand made for the Prince of Prussia. So if it was good for the Prince of Prussia, I hope it's good for some of you out there. This is a $99 library, so it's not gonna break the bank. Stay on the lookout for any discounts, because there are discounts sometimes and you can get it for around $75. Or if you buy a Native Instrument product, sometimes there's like coupon codes or some type of gift card, so you can definitely get it for less. Or wait around the holidays, close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, they actually put them on discount, so if you don't feel like you have to get it now. The other thing to know is this is part of a set of 3 piano samples that you can get in one package. So that's the Gentleman, the Grandeur, the Maverick. I'm not a fan of the other 2, only because I already have the Steinway, but if you're looking to experiment and get a different sound, go for it, or you could just get them separately. So just to finish up, this is a 13.6 gig library, and all you need is the free contact player to use it. So when you're looking at an instrument that you want to use in a production or in a composition you want to work on, different pianos produce different tones. You're going to get a lot of different features from it. And if you've watched my previous videos, I did a review on the Noir piano. That's a very modern cinematic sounding piano, so it's a little bit muted compared to the Steinway D from Embertone, which is very just well-balanced 1950s classic Steinway sound that you would expect. Perfect for almost any scenario. Now, where this one falls in my opinion, is something softer, something more romantic and chill. This is a piano that has a soft sound, so you're not going to get a lot of like thundering notes. It's going to be louder in the middle to the higher range, not in the bass. So I'll play a couple of examples just to get forward into it, just to get into it so you can hear it yourself. I'm actually recording it through the Logic Pro software, so I'll put it over this video so you can hear the actual sound. All right, so we're recording. So we're gonna start with C octaves in the bass. So you are going to get power, you're going to get volume, but you're going to notice once I start playing that you're going to get something a little softer. So let's do a chord now, or an arpeggio. Out of the box, the piano sounds great, but it doesn't come with the reverb you would expect. So you're gonna have to play with Logic Pro, add your own reverb to create the space that you want the piano to emulate it's coming from. So I have mine under Concert Hall with the piano EQ on Logic Pro. If you don't have that on, it's still fine to play, but it's going to be very flat recording studio, no reverb, you know, just flat note, not much resonance. You're not gonna hear that resonance as much. So I opted for that just to make it feel more full. All right, so let's go ahead and start with an example now. So right away, you're going to notice that you do get volume, like I said, but they're in the middle of the range. Basically, these 2 octaves in middle C, when you play softly, it's extra soft. It's not as clear. You have to really kind of pay attention that you are playing the notes because they are there. But the treble overpowers and the far bass overpowers, whereas the middle is very mute, or much more mute than other libraries, other piano samples. And this is not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. I think it depends on what you're playing. So based on the sound I'm getting, I'm feeling more of a romantic period music. So if you're composing something that's nostalgic, sad, old school romantic period, classical style, I feel like this piano fits in well. Whereas the Steinway D or the Noir is going to give you more modern sound, a more full sound. You'll be able to play with that loudness, with that the softness. It's kind of like a hybrid. Whereas here, when I play a chord such as C, I get a very much more muted, soft sound. And if I play louder, it kind of blends. It sounds very churchy to me. So compare that to the bass, where I can play the same chord. I feel like middle C octave to the bass, well, we start getting a louder note. And then the treble is just a lot louder. So you'll notice it's very soft. So I would imagine this being played back in the day, maybe in the lounge, maybe a private concert, family, friends only. Not really performing, you know, in a chamber, in a hall. It's much more intimate because you have to kind of like get in and listen a little bit more because the notes are a lot softer. So if you're looking for something like that to fit into your compositions, this is a great option. But now let me try the Steinway in D by Embertone, which is my go-to, and see how the first piece that I gave as an example would sound. So I would say that's a lot more what you would think of as a concert grand. The sound you would expect from a music hall, from a symphony hall, where they have a Steinway. I feel like this is the sound you're expecting. Like I said, it depends on what you're looking for, but if you're looking for something softer toned, the Maverick is a good option. If you're looking for something really full, you'll want to look at Steinway in D, which is still my #1 that I recommend. But let's not stop there. Let's make a part 2 and we'll be right back.